YouTube, Gamer Hushu here again. So I started to film this video. I wanted to film and talk about Resident Evil and kind of survival horror genre, as we call it. This is my second attempt at this. Hopefully I'm a little more concise, so I feel better about this video. So it's supposed to begin. A lot of people are pretty familiar with the Resident Evil series. If you've been playing video games on console for a long time, you've probably at very least heard of it. It's one of those series that everybody at least knows a little bit about, such as, I don't know. I maybe wouldn't put it on the same ranks as like Mario and Zelda, because those are like even more expansive and well known. But it's certainly up there, and a lot of people know about it. So kind of this was brought on by, I've been playing through Resident Evil HD Remastered for PS3 recently. It's taken a lot. I'd always thought Resident Evil was a shorter game than this, but it's just been taking a while. For those familiar with it, I just finished up killing the plant in the Aqua Ring just a couple minutes ago, and then I had to go drive somewhere. So that's kind of brought on comparing that to my familiarity with Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, which I like very much, which of course is a controversial opinion because a lot of people just kind of call them crap. So it really got me thinking that of all the Resident Evil games I've played, I wouldn't call any of them survival horror. Like, I know we call it that, but there's certainly horror games. I don't know that you could really call it survival horror, because that implies that the horror comes from the struggle to survive. When Resident Evil, at least, unless they've changed it in the remaster, there's no more to your survival than there is in Zelda. Is Zelda a survival game? Is it a survival fantasy? No. You have a life bar, and you take damage, and when you lose all your health points, you die. It's the same in every Zelda game, every RPG, most games, other than the ones that are, one-hit kill games. Like parts of Mario, where you fall in a pit, you're dead. You touch a Goomba when you don't have a power-up, you're dead. So, I wouldn't call it a survival game. And that's once again really controversial. It just got me thinking about what would it take to truly have something I could call survival horror. Because there are certainly games that are a little more survival based. The game Don't Starve comes to mind, where essentially the majority of what you're doing in the game, there's kind of objectives and you're exploring, but it's that your hunger meter is slowly draining, and if you're not continually feeding yourself, you'll start to lose hit points. Minecraft has more survival elements, which is why the main mode is called survival, not adventure or whatever, because they added that food bar. That's a key part of making it a survival game. So I would not call any Resident Evil game that I've ever seen a survival horror game, because the horror comes more from facing odds that are against you more than surviving against certain elements. I feel like I might be explaining this badly, but I almost feel like they started to get a sense of that as the series went on, which is why Resident Evil 4 is no longer really survival horror. They don't even like try to call it that. It's action horror. And I mean, you get more to like Resident Evil 5 and 6, it's pretty much just action with, oh no, monsters. But it's monsters. It's like, it's no more horror than, oh snap, it's Bowser and I'm Mario. Once again, it's basic video game tropes being called horror and survival in certain contexts, but when they're exact same in a different game, they're not considered elements of that. Am I misunderstanding this? So I guess that was kind of my bit. I'm enjoying Resident Evil. It's pretty fun. I've got the original PS1 versions of 2 and 3 to play afterwards. So I'm going to be good short up on those games for a little bit. A couple weeks. Good thing is the holiday season. I get a little extra time off from school and such. So I guess that's about it. Let me know what you think. And I mean, if I'm wrong and you just know better, tell me. I'd love to kind of discuss this, because I don't know. Resident Evil is certainly scary, and sure, it's a horror game. I open a door, and I've gotten in the habit, every time I'm opening a new door, I immediately have like my finger primed on the left bumper, ready to push it, just drop my gun, and it'll auto lock on if there's an enemy, so you can kind of tell, oh snap, is there an enemy in the room? Which is, I mean, people have said this tons of times. The camera angle issue, it feels very archaic, and I kind of hate it, but I hate it for a good reason. It's a gameplay element that changes the style of the game, because in Resident Evil 4, for example, first of all, kicking open doors is a thing. There's like mini loading times on every door in the first 3 Resident Evils and Code Veronica and such. But you can like immediately see what's in front of you. In this, it's actually really funny how they do it, because I keep not so much in this later part of the game, but you'll pop into a room and the camera will just be looking straight at your character. I'm playing the Jill campaign first. The Jill version, whatever you want to call it. And so it's just sitting up there, and I'm like, I have no idea what's in this room, but you have to like take that step and start moving into the room before you can see anything. So that's about it. I mean, I started to fall into reviewing Resident Evil 1. It's good. But let me know what you think about the whole survival horror thing. I do feel like it cheapens the survival aspect of it if you can very handily deal with most of the enemies. I mean, I shotgunned a giant snake earlier, and it gave me like 16 shotgun shells and a new shotgun, and like, have fun, and I just shoot it. That's not really very horror-y to me, because that's just an action face-to-face fight, which is a little different. But I'm not ragging on the series. I love the later ones. I'm pretty enjoying the first one now. Enjoyed the bit of Code Veronica I've played. That's about it. Gamer Whoshoe out.